best-selling author of Paper Lifesavers, Marie Burns.
1941, the year of the Pearl Harbor attack, is also a year that will live in infamy in the history of my family. You see, that year, my grandma Helen went downtown to meet her husband for lunch in the city of Milwaukee. But when she got to his building, it was surrounded by police cars and flashing lights. She rushes into the building, takes the elevator to the 9th floor, barely steps out of the elevator, and there's a police officer. "Hey, lady, where are you going?" "Well, I'm here to meet my husband, James Rowan, for lunch." "Oh, I'm sorry, lady, you can't do that." "But why not?" "Well, because he's dead." My poor grandmother, she told me when she heard those words, she was looking down the hallway, and there was a big picture window looking out over the city of Milwaukee, and all she wanted to do was throw herself out that window. She told me, "Marie, if I could have, I would have done it in a heartbeat." See, my grandparents had been high school sweethearts. They got married, they had had 2 young children at home, and she was actually expecting my father, their 3rd child, when all of this happened. My grandfather was working in the collections office in the building, and that day he was phone sitting for a buddy of his who also worked in the building as an attorney. So my grandfather's sitting at the attorney's desk, looking out his window with his back to the door, and a disgruntled client of the attorney's, who had just gotten out of jail, walks into the office, sees a man at the attorney's desk, and shoots my grandfather in the back and kills him. That left my poor grandmother, an innocent housewife, a widow at age 28, and suddenly in charge of their finances. For the first time in her life, she had to find the checkbook so she could pay the bills, had to sell the house because she couldn't afford to keep it, couldn't afford to pay for the insurance for her little family. So she had to get a job for the first time in her life. In my line of work as a financial advocate, over the past 20 years, I've helped many individuals and all different types of couples. My grandparents were a driver and passenger type of couple. Grandma Helen was the passenger in their car when it came to household finances. She had to find the keys to the car just like she had to find the checkbook for the first time. It was an absolutely traumatic experience for her. Now, my other grandmother, Grandma Margaret, she and her husband were more of a joined-at-the-hip couple. They made all their financial decisions together, and then she actually was the one that acted on those decisions because Grandpa was gone for weeks at a time for work. She lost her husband early, too. He died in his 50s from cancer, but I got to visit her in their family home growing up because she did not have to sell the house after Grandpa passed away. The last type of couple, the divide and conquer couple, is what my husband and I have actually evolved to. We talk about all things financial, but then we split the duties. He takes care of the banking and the bill paying, and I take care of the investments and the insurance. You know, statistically, we women outlive men in every country in the entire world. So when we are left alone, it's this divide and conquer couple that adjusts the best. As a certified financial planner, I admire every woman, and I want to help you feel comfortable with your finances, no matter which category you're in. But if there's one thing I've learned in my life, you have to not only know who you are, but what you're comfortable with. So if you are or were a passenger in your financial car, or maybe driving alone, or alone for the first time, like my Grandma Helen, you may need my help. You know, one last thing I remember about both of my grandmothers, they wore hats regularly. So as a little kid, I remember watching them thinking, "Oh, they look so pretty. When I grow up, I'm going to wear hats so I can look just like them." Well, somewhere along the line, I told myself, when I turn 50, I'm going to start wearing some of Grandma Helen's hats. See, Grandma Helen remarried after her husband was murdered. She married, unfortunately, for money instead of love the second time around, so she ended up living in a big, beautiful 2-story home, and on the second floor was this large walk-in hat closet, shelves lined with those hat boxes. Well, Age 50 kind of came and went for me a while ago, but today I'm deciding better late than never. I still remember Grandma Helen wearing this hat, 1976 for the Centennial Parade. She and Grandpa were driving their Model T. My sister and I got to ride along throwing candy and waving for the whole 2 blocks of that little Main Street parade. So in closing, I'd like to say hats off to both of my grandmothers for inspiring me to help the women that I work with today so they can enjoy more life with less worry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.